I would say I have a connection to the river. I mean, yeah, the view's not bad, that's for sure. It's a really great perspective on life. I do feel really lucky to have the job that I have, that I can work on the river and go out on the river. I don't think people really appreciate that it is a working river. The Port of London Authority was established in 1908. It's the largest UK port. Without ports, there would be no trade because 90% of the world trade goes through ports and through shipping.
Like all of those cranes that you can see, like the smaller ones as well, they're all electric, so that's great.
Air quality is a massive issue. So it's particularly important that we focus on vessel emissions and reducing them.
Every voyage starts and ends at a port, and those ports facilitate global trade. They keep economies moving, but they also have to move on the journey to limit global warming. Shipping emissions are increasing year on year, and they account for around 3% of global emissions. We help the ports by gathering data for them and bringing that into a digital environment to help them measure and then manage the emissions of ships. In some cases, those emissions account for up to 90% of a port's footprint. Ports have a very critical role to play in driving decarbonisation in the maritime industry. The ability for us to have the impact that we want to have on the planet relies on data. Without data, the ports are flying blind. The Maritime Emissions Portal is a digital, innovative tool that allows ports to calculate and visualise the emissions within their port. So firstly, we establish a boundary around the port. This is similar to a boundary around a city that you might see with the low emissions zone. We then track the activity of ships using a satellite tracking system. We calculate the emissions of the ships using data from our database.
The ability to filter by vessel type, the ability to filter by point of interest on the river is really, really valuable, and it means that I can see everything from my laptop.
The information that we provide gives Grace data at her fingertips to then be able to engage with her port community.
Going out on the tug with Dave is great because I learn something new every day with him. On the RightShip platform, you see tugboat jobs as like a separate entity. They are almost like the grease that makes everything run smoothly. We actually found out that because tugs are such high activity vessels on the river, although they don't account for much of the unique vessel traffic, they contribute up to 50% of the emissions of the river. I was really surprised because there's only a handful of tugboats that are on the river. That's not something that I was expecting at all.
You know, tugs are integral to London and trade generally. If we didn't have tugs, the trade would just stop.
The data can be quite revealing. That is one of the benefits that we're offering to the ports. We're helping them to see through the mist where the opportunity is to act now.
It made me think that tugboats were a really good opportunity. We should be targeting them because it would be a really great opportunity to reduce those emissions in one fell swoop. Well, I think that's one of the powers of the platform. If you come to someone with the data provides proof that there is an issue that needs to be solved. You can propose sort of an evidence-based solution. Dave's a great example. Being a technical superintendent, you know, he'll really have the knowledge and know how to understand what is possible on those vessels. Looking to the future, I'm talking about encouraging vessels to use biofuels or be implementing shore power. So instead of a ship running its generators, it will connect to shore power and run on electricity instead, and preferably renewable electricity. We will need that data until every vessel on the Thames is zero emission.
It's extremely encouraging to work with ports such as Port of London Authority, who act as a lighthouse for other ports in what can be done now.
Our work that we've done, along with loads of other partners on the river to improve its condition, have really paid off. I mean, now we have 125 fish species in the river, and it's home to 300,000 overwintering birds. So that's been a great achievement. It gives me so much hope to think that things can change, because they have.